Alright, this one's probably a little overly ambitious, but we'll see what happens. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I'm Andrew, and we're here to talk about what I plan to read in March of 2023, the year that I turn 33, or I guess the month I turn 33? I don't know, it's my birthday month, so we'll kind of see what happens. I might be hanging out with some friends. I'm probably overly ambitious, that's why we call it an MBR, might be read. But before we get into all of this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel as it does help us grow. And while you're doing all of that, do me a favor, check the description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, as well as links to all of my social media, including my new and updated Patreon. And guys, I should have probably sorted these books, but yeah, without any real further ado, let's kind of just get into what I'm planning on reading. As if you are unaware, there was a incident in my family that I kind of did a video on, where I had to move a bunch of books from February to March, and so some of those have been moved. Others are we'll just gonna kind of play it by ear. One that got moved was, I'm currently doing a Malazan read-along, and we are on Memories of Ice. And that one has gotten moved to this month. I'm gonna try and start the month with Memories of Ice. I've already read it before, so I should get through it pretty quickly, but we're gonna kind of see what happens. It's a big, big book. After that, let's see, what got moved last month? No Heart for a Thief is making a return because I needed something small and short to just kind of get through it. I just kind of swapped review copies because if you don't know, I've got about 23 review copies. So making a return is No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Dullen. And yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about this. I'm excited to read it. What more do you need to know? And then in terms of review copies, let's get the review copies out of the way, although one is buried. Bear with me for just one moment. Hefty. Wimpy. Okay. Alright, review copies. So we've got Cupboards All Bared by Patricia Meredith. This is the Spokane Clock Tower Mysteries. I read Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Taker. There we go. It's a bit of a longer title, but I read that last month. It's part of a buddy read that I'm doing with Kayla from Case Hidden Shelf. I absolutely loved that book, and so we are continuing with this one. Oh, dude, it was so good. It caught me off guard with how much I loved it. Sometimes it's just nice to break up, the fantasy and the sci-fi with something a little different, like a period mystery. I loved it so much. So I'm so excited for Cupboards All Bared. Then I want to try and get to, this is a review copy, The Severing Sun. There we go, by Von Roykoff. I heard this is kind of going to scratch that Faithful and the Fallen itch, and that's an itch that I kind of need scratched. I don't know where I was going to go with that, but yeah, I am super looking forward to this. This was kindly sent to me for review, and I mean, just look at that cover. I'm just, shameless plug for whoever your cover artist is. Oh, there's a Philip Chase review here on the back, and it says PhD, aka YouTube's Dr. Fantasy. Oh, that's right there. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, that's so cool. Beautiful cover. Next up, my good friend and patron, Palmer Pickering, sent me her latest book, Heliotrope. This is kind of a standalone. It's a bit of a beefy one, but it's one that I'm really excited for. Palmer has been very good to me. And her book, Moon Deeds, I really enjoyed that one. And so I want to give Heliotrope a try before I try Light Fighters. Gorgeous cover. I heard this is, if you've been missing that third person omniscient, this might scratch that. It's kind of written in that style. And it is just, it's so gorgeous. Oh, so we're going to try and fit this one in as well. And then let's talk about that one a little later. That's not a review copy. Now I'm just shuffling stuff all over the place because I've got patron stuff to discuss. All right, so I've got 3 patron things going on this month. And if you don't already know, I kind of revitalized the Patreon a little bit. And this will be relevant, I promise. I added another tier called the Wizard Adept tier. And this is kind of a mid-step tier between the Wizard Apprentice and the Wizard Journeyman. And basically, the perks that I added is every other month, my patrons from that tier up can submit a book to me. It doesn't have to be on my TBR, and I will add that to a wheel, I'll spin it, and then every other month I will read that book, or at least attempt to read it. And this month it was, what is this called? This is called The Lesser Dead, and this was submitted by my patron Doug. Sorry, Doug. And he submitted this one. This is by Christopher Buhlman, and so I'm going to be reading that one this month. Then, of course, we do the monthly buddy read, and we've kind of gone away from just single individual books, because like my series in progress just shot through the roof, and it kind of started giving me anxiety, and so now we do series. And so we are starting in March, Draconis Memoria, and we're starting with The Waking Fire. Please tell me I picked book 1. I did. With The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan. It has been a long while since I read some Anthony Ryan, and I'm glad to be back. So I'm going to be reading this one, and I'm super looking forward to it. And additionally, my patrons also get to select a book anywhere off my TBR, as long as I already own the copy. And this one was by my patron Twainy, and she wants me to read Beyond Redemption by Michael R. Fletcher. I've already read The Obsidian Path by Michael R. Fletcher, but this is his only traditionally published book, and it's supposed to be incredibly dark, but also incredibly inventive, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one. I've had the audio for this for well over a year, so it's about time I just got that listened to, so I can know what it's all about, and then I can decide if I'm going to read book number Dose. And then everything else, I believe, is buddy reads, or in progress buddy reads / read-alongs, and then stuff I just want to read for me. Now, one that I don't know if I'm going to get to, but I'm feeling the itch for some David Gemmell. It's been probably 3 months since I read any David Gemmell, and I wanted to kind of do one of his standalones, and so I reached for Morningstar. It's actually got this nice cover blurb by Joe Abercrombie, the hard-bitten champion of British heroic fantasy. This is Morningstar. I think, from what I've been told, this is set in the same world as Draenei, but it's not a Draenei book, because this is supposed to, like, predate Draenei, like, by thousands of years, and usually in Draenei we're dealing in hundreds of years, so this is like the same world, but pre-Draenei Nation. That's kind of what I understand about it, but I could be completely wrong about that. But I wanted to reach for this one just because it's a standalone, technically, and I've been kind of missing some David Gemmell, so hopefully this will scratch that itch. Up next, we have got, or I should say finishing off, James Clavell's Shogun. I read, this has been like a buddy read that's been kind of hosted by the Grimoire Discord, Theo and Alex and all them, Alan and I think Tori. But yeah, we're almost done. I've read all of this, and I'm just kind of trucking right along. We've got books 4, 5, and I think 6. But I could be wrong, but I mean, it's pretty much almost done. There's like 300-ish pages left. I don't know. It's very good, and I'm glad to have finally kind of be done with Shogun. So quick editing cut-in, I completely forgot to mention Storm of Swords because it was in my book haul pile. So yes, I'm going to be reading this in March as well. And then up next, this one, this isn't going to be like a priority one, but if it gets read, it gets read. If it doesn't, I'll get back to it. I read the first book in this series, I should say saga, in February, and I liked it pretty well. It didn't blow me away, mainly because, I just wasn't expecting the tone of the book to be what it was. But we've got The Elven Star, Volume 2 of the Deathgate Cycle by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. Good little cover. But, so Book 1 has a scene on the cover that's from the book, but it's like a snapshot of something that's just happening at the beginning of the book. And so, I was expecting more dragons, or I don't know. Deathgate is something so far that's been really, really interesting and kind of unique. I haven't really come across anything quite like it, but we'll see. I'm going to put this on the MBR and hope, fingers crossed, that I get to it. Now, in the Wizardly Duo Discord, we are starting a read-along for Ben Galley's Emaneska. And, of course, if you want to be a part of that, link in the description box down below. Drop on in. We're going to have buddy read channels. It's going to be great. And this is going to be my 4th Ben Galley book. Yeah, my 4th Ben Galley book. So we're starting with The Written. This is Emaneska, book 1, obviously, if we're starting this month. And yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think this is Norse fantasy. I don't know. Ben Gally's a solid dude. I'm excited to kind of get into this because I own this book 3 different ways. I've got the ebook, I've got the audio, and I've got the physical. And I haven't read it yet. So the time is now. All right, and then finally, so we talked about Malazan. Am I forgetting anything? We are forgetting something. I gotta pull this book before I forget about it. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget about it, and that's why we do a mental checklist. We've got One Foot in the Fade. This isn't the book I was just talking about, by the way, by Luke Arnold. I believe this is book 2? Yeah, book 2, and no, this is book 3. This is book 3 in the Fetch Phillips series by Luke Arnold. I am getting ready to start sometime this week the 2nd book at the time of recording. I'm just recording this now because I've got a kind of pocket of time with no kids. Everything's quiet. Why not? So we've got One Foot in the Fade by Luke Arnold. Fetch Phillips number 3. It's kind of like a detective fantasy style of thing with a nice twist. Kind of like picture putting like a bumbling Dresden in like Ankh-Morpork, but like Ankh-Morpork if it was actually like incredibly dark and dangerous, and they don't like Dresden at all because he's a human, and you kind of get Fetch Phillips. So that's kind of what we got going on right there. And then the one I almost forgot about was Shadowfane, Cycle of Fire, Book 3. This will close out Cycle of Fire for me, and then I can start reading even more Janie Wirtz, one of my new favorite authors. I have started Keeper of the Keys, but I am currently just juggling like 3 or 4 books. I'm enjoying it. Janie Wirtz is amazing. So yes, we've got Shadowfane, the 3rd book, and I think that's everything that I would like to try and read. Will I get to all of these? Probably not. But I'm going to attempt it. That said, guys, let me know what you're reading in February in the comments down below. And as always, till next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.